Yee yee how. One of my favorite Asking Alexandria lyrics.
Yep. Yeehaw. The cowboy lyric.
Yee how.
But
That's a weird ass name, doesn't it?
yeah.
It's like I maybe once, possibly, perhaps a cowboy king.
A cowboy king.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The king of the cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are.
Yeah. Did you know that Dak Prescott is the king of the Cowboys currently?
I agree.
You could argue.
Go crazy.
You're the asshole. I'm assuming that you're well-intentioned and feel that.
Yeah.
I got the biggest voice. I never heard Dak.
So you're
Always, when I ever say Dak Prescott, I think
This approach is outdated Baby and not teeth. helpful for development.
He's
got baby teeth?
Baby teeth.
Huh. I guess I can't visualize it. So
Implanting in your mind.
implant it into your memory bank forever. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It can also create a
My mind blowing fact is
punitive
you're
relationship
a little
with
bit
food,
taller in the morning.
even if it is
Alright.
working.
Yeah.
For
If really.
a child.
Yeah.
No
Not
way.
every
kid is
No
the
way.
same and may
Yeah,
not
you
work,
pretty much just
for
like
your
walk
boyfriend's
your spine
kids.
down. That's what happens.
It's not
to
okay
people
to have a
old age,
child
too. You lose like an
go
inch or
without
two.
dinner or without food
What?
for any
You
extended
lose an
period
inch or
when
two?
you're hungry.
When you get older.
When you get
Main
older.
Yeah.
Part, you're the asshole.
Is it
for,
because
though,
like your
is that
spine
this is for the
decompresses or
child.
some shit?
You
Bars.
get to decide
Huh.
how to parent
Interesting.
the child,
Yeah,
especially
your,
if the
like, your
child's parents
muscles
both
are not your
agree
muscles, your
on how the
bones.
child.
So I'm gonna be
should
really
treated.
fucking short.
It's fine. I think.
If you're unwilling to
Man.
care for
You know, this isn't
the kids
necessarily
in
related,
any
but
other
what do you
way,
think the ideal
then you need to
height
tell
is?
your
'Cause I
boyfriend
think
that you
6,
can't
like,
look
4 and
after
above
them
is trash.
for their meal.
Yeah, I would say like
However,
I'm at like I'm at the floor height. Like I'm at a low level height. I think like anything around like 5'7" and below is like mid. 6'4" and above is like that's gotta kind of stink. But I feel like there's some benefits if you're halfway athletic at that height. If you can, because I've heard from a lot of people when that are tall people, when they get taller, like they have less balance.
Yep.
So, and that's kind of like what seems to be like a really good indicator of if you'll be a good athlete at those taller heights is if you have really good balance.
Well, and maybe it's copium because like my ass is like 5'11", so like I want to be 6 feet. But basically, I think that if you're like 6'6", you're gonna have back problems, and then you're also just gonna like life isn't built for you.
I mean, fuck, dude. I'm 6. I'm 6.
I'm 6'6".
I'm fucking 5'7", and I have back problems. So
Well,
I'll take
sure.
6'6", and I have
Sure.
fucking knee problems.
Damn.
So fuck, dude. Like
You are kind of a rare case then, because you're like not overweight at all. You've never been
No.
overweight,
no,
like not even slightly.
no.
If anything, you were probably underweight most of your life.
Yeah. I'd say until I was like 18, 19, 20s, I was probably underweight because I was floating around like 135 to like 150 max
Yeah.
until I was like 18, 19, 20, started working at a farm and got into bodybuilding, and then I put on pounds like nobody's business. But
Yeah.
I think part of it also is just because I was really hard on my body during that time too, for like bodybuilding, and I worked at a farm.
Yep. You have 1,000 bodies under your belt.
Yeah, 100,000 bodies.
100,000 bodies.
Oh,
Dude,
Jesus.
I've been on the true crime wave. Do you think that like that's somebody's like that's how they cope? They're a psychopath and they just kill like 1,000 chickens a day.
I mean, I doubt it.
Really?
They probably wouldn't be. I would imagine they probably wouldn't be very like fulfilled with it if that like
It just gets kind of boring.
It's not like, I don't know. It's not very like. It's just like a job.
Yeah.
Where you're processing poultry, so it's kind of just like I don't know. I guess I don't know how a psychopath thinks. So,
I know.
well, actually, yeah, I do. What am I talking about?
Dude, that's the thing is when I'm watching these true crime things is like when you see a true psychopath who just like genuinely doesn't care like about anything basically. Like you'll like the one that stuck out in my mind is this like 14-year-old kid, and he brought his like he was at school and he brought his friend to the bathroom, like some whatever private bathroom kind of. I don't even think it was private, straight up. Just a bathroom. And then he fucking stabbed him in the neck like 100 times.
Jesus
just, like,
Christ.
Yeah, it slit his throat, killed him. And And he was trying to do it to his other friend, and then like the police are asking him like, so like, why'd you do it to him? And he was like, oh, because I knew he would trust me. And it's just like, dude, you're fucked up.
Dude, I can't watch that shit. I can't watch it. I can't listen to it. It's too fucked up.
It's super fucked up.
I'm like, dude, I don't even find it entertaining. I'm like, this is just deranged, kind of.
Dude, it's
I mean,
crazy work,
not to
bro.
shit on the fucking true crime lovers out there, but I'm like, dude, this is fucked up.
It is fucked up. I think that's not the allure of it, but
I guess there's some solace in being like, yeah, that's definitely not me.
oh yeah, well, it's not like
or like there's solace in the fact of being like, wow, that's really fucked up.
yeah.
I guess there's that. I don't know. Once again, I think it's just the fact of I don't see the allure in it, but
It's mostly just like stories, because like I think the difference is that I'm so far removed from it. I'll never meet this person. I didn't even know him until this video, and probably won't think about him that much previous unless it's a conversation like this, where it's like, and that's just because that one was the most like crazy. I'd say honestly the most heartless people are not even the psychopath ones. It's like the abusive, the ones that are abusive to kids.
Yeah,
That's the ones that are just like, you chained up a kid because he was a kid. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Dude, a kid's job is to be a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's to be carefree and to not like know. You're supposed to guide him through life and like teach him what's right and wrong. When your version of if you do something wrong is you chain him up to a bed, it's just like so fucked up, man.
Yeah, that's a big reason why I don't listen or watch, because I'm like, dude, this is too fucked up. I don't view this as entertainment. I don't view it as entertainment.
I completely agree, but let's get to something a little more entertaining.
Yes, let's do it.
What's something that's true but feels a little wrong? I'm gonna read some stuff, and I'm gonna just want to know if your mind is blown.
Gotcha.
So I got 5 facts. Hopefully they're good.
Gotcha.
Number 1, you've already forgotten most of your life.
I mean, in what sense?
So like, you just can't remember that much. Your brain capacity is not enough. So like, currently you've forgotten more.
I suppose I have very spotty memory of like around the ages of probably about 10 to 12, somewhere in that range, until about like 16 to 18.
Sure.
Somewhere in that range. Very spotty. Before that, I actually have pretty decent memory.
Yeah.
And then after that, also have pretty good memory from like 19 until like, obviously now, but 19, 18, 19, 20s have pretty good memory. There's just a little spotty area from like ages like basically like 10 to 19.
Sure.
Where it is a lot more spotty. And then obviously, very young adolescence of like birth till like, like 5-ish.
When Sentient dropped.
Yep.
When the DLC dropped.
when the when the downloadable content.
Oh my god.
When I spawned into the map.
I'm alive. I'm alive. Where's Rust? Let me get in the 1v1s.
Yep. Let me get on the 1v1s.
I
mean, yeah, I guess.
You're a fucking loser. You're dog shit.
You're trash, kid.
You're fucking trash, kid.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I feel like I have a halfway decent memory though, because I frequently get told that I have a good memory, which is crazy. Which is crazy because I remember when I was like in that like phase of like 12 to 20s, I always felt like I had a pretty poor memory. I think a lot of that just because I would experiment with drugs. So
hell yeah, brother.
So
12.
Not even
12,
around,
bro?
not at 12, but more like 14, 15.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at 12 is when you start really getting an understanding of the realm.
the realm of the land
Yeah.
when you
To-
walk out.
Yeah, that's when your like knowledge skill starts to boost up a little bit higher.
Yeah, you start getting to specking into stats.
Yep, you start specking into knowledge a bit more.
Yep, you get your skill tree unlocked. And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
you can decide which one you do. Life's a fucking video game.
Yeah,
man.
you can decide what you want to spec into a little bit more.
Number 2 fact: life is a video game, and nothing actually matters. There's no consequences to any of your actions.
Thank God.
No, to reel it back in. Number 2, you're physically a different person than you were 10 years ago.
Yeah, isn't there something along the lines of like all of your cells get replaced in that amount of time or something
7
like
years.
that? Yeah.
7 years it takes a cell to pretty much go through, like, stop replicating, be a different cell.
Yeah.
So, like, every 10 years, you are literally, just cellularly,
Mm-hmm.
a different being.
Yeah.
You know, none of the things you were before.
Yeah.
This one isn't on the list, but I just read it. You're made of stardust. I think we all know that, though.
Yeah.
That's one of those things you could tell a kid and then their mind would be fucking blown. Wait, you're saying the stars have dust?
Whoa.
Is that why everyone calls me Dusty?
Is that why everyone calls me a scrub?
Is that why everyone calls me a loser? Is that why my dad doesn't talk to me anymore?
Is that why my dad left all those years ago to get milk?
Ah, yes. He said, you're going to become Naruto.
Yeah. Basically.
I'm going to go fight the fucking Jinchuriki. I gotta be gone. Side tangent. So if you... Soy Jackface. If you had to leave your son, what note are you leaving?
I had to go on a long quest.
We'll be back potentially in the future.
Yep, I got a quest.
Yep.
I have a journey I have to embark on.
Dude, it'd be so fucked up if you just had, like, on a quest RN.
A quest, bro. I got this mean quest that I got vibes from RuneScape. So now I gotta go.
Telling your wife that you got a quest you gotta fucking do.
You just look up, you're like, oh shit, I got a quest inbound, babe. Gotta go.
Oh shit, like you're just solo leveling.
Yeah, for real.
Oh babe, I got a fucking dungeon. It's gonna take me 27 years. I gotta level up. All right.
Yeah,
Well, take
See
care
ya.
of the kid. See ya.
pretty much.
I got shit to do. Number 3, you can technically survive without falling asleep for days, but your brain will start to hallucinate. Have you ever done that?
What?
Stayed awake so much that you hallucinated?
Fuck no.
No, me neither.
That sounds hardcore.
It sounds like some meth shit. It sounds like you did like hella drugs.
Yeah, that just sounds really difficult to do.
Well, you'd have to intentionally do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, after a while,
Adderall, maybe?
you just get naturally fucking tired. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need some type of stimulant.
stimulant. Yeah.
Caffeine, fucking
Something that's gonna keep your mind up.
XYZ. I got
But-
my second drink.
You got 200 drinks.
200 milligrams of cocaine.
Well, I mean,
Let's
that's
fucking
not
go,
200
baby.
milligrams of cocaine, but
Oh, okay.
sure. Cool. Yeah, let me hear another.
Number 4, you've already met someone who will forget you completely.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. You know, people go in and out of your life, so
Yeah, and that's something that, like, I mean, there's just so many people in the world, especially us. We are people that meet and see a lot of people.
yeah,
You know what I mean? On a day to day, on a weekly, on a yearly basis. There's just a lot of people in our lives that come and go, and, you know, especially if you start thinking about like high school, like you probably have like a semi acquaintance relationship with somebody that like you literally haven't thought about in 1,000 years. You know what I mean?
pretty much. Yeah, I actually have one here that's true, but it feels wrong.
Sure.
The odds of you being born is in the range of, I think it's 1 in 300 million or 1 in 400 million or maybe even billion.
I think it's because like that sperm.
Yeah, well, not just like that sperm, but like you.
Yeah.
Like the odds of becoming like being a human and being you is like 1 in a couple hundred million or 1 in a couple hundred billion, something like that. I think it might even be billion, like 400 billion. I think you have better odds of winning the lottery 10 times in your lifetime than being born.
I completely believe that. If you just start thinking of statistically
Mm-hmm.
of like how many sperm are there, there's a I don't know, a fucking terabyte of cum or a memory in one cum.
Yep.
So
There
it's like,
there's a terabyte of cum in one memory.
yeah, there's a terabyte of cum. God damn, you're downloading so much data. You're such a good girl. Holy smokes.
Look at all this data.
Look at all that data you just consumed. That's crazy.
God damn.
Last but not least. Never mind. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say what? Yeah, you literally
Tweaked
copied.
out, bro.
Yeah. That's why I
Wait,
threw the other one in because
the-
it was the same thing.
Well, the good news is that we both had a fun fact off the dome piece.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. But speaking of memory and cum, am I the asshole?
Speaking of coming on my memory, am I the asshole? So I did a lot of reading. You wanna bang out the top one?
Yeah, I can rip this one.
Hell yeah.
First up, am I the asshole for sending my little sister a vet bill after she tried to get my horses to breed? I, 34 female, am a horse breeder and own 10 horses.
10
I have a
horses.
little sister, 19 female, who is
Legal.
a surprise baby for my parents. Not sure how that's relevant.
Fuck yeah.
They didn't think they could have more after me, so she is quite babbled even now. Babbled, babied. Sorry, the text is very small.
I thought you were fucking with me.
No, it's babied. It's kind of hard to read this, honestly, but we're gonna rip through it. All right. Younger sister, quite babied. They begged me to take her on to help her get some work, and I agreed, but made it clear she'd have to work hard and there would be no slacking. She has generally been fine with it and enjoys being around the horses, though I do have to light a fire under her ass at times to get her to keep working. The problem, however, arose when a local animal rescue asked me to help them. They had a stallion surrendered to them, and they didn't have the capabilities to take care of him. I had room, so agreed to take him. I also arranged for full genetic testing to ensure he's all right. As it seemed, he was gotten.
He was gotten through backyard breeders.
He was okay. He was gotten through backyard breeders. I've also made an appointment to have him guided, gelded.
Yeah, horse term.
To have him gelded, as I don't know enough about him to risk him not being gelded. Okay, what does that even mean?
I got you.
He has his own padlock and is kept in a separate stable than my own horses just to be safe. I'm slowly socializing him, but I'm taking no risk. I've been letting my sister sit in on breeding planning for 2025. And my main stars are going to be Dante and Willow. Okay, some horses' names.
Epic.
This is a fucking read. God damn. They've had, and it mainly, they should have just broke it up better.
Yeah.
They've had 4 successful and healthy foals? Fowls?
I think fowls, maybe.
Fowls who are going to go into dressage.
This is
What the
on
fuck
horse
are
Reddit,
these
bro.
terms? Dude, I don't know what any of this shit means.
I can tell you what the gelded one means.
What is that?
It's like spade, or not spade. He got his balls removed.
Yeah, he can't have
He
kids.
got castrated.
Gotcha. I know they work well together, and Willow has a 2-year break, so she'll be ready to go again this year. The first warning bell I overlooked was that my sister asked about the new stallion and when I'd be breeding him. I explained that he'd not be bred as there was too many unknowns. I don't know his health. I don't have a good enough grasp of his temperament. She protested that he was pretty, though, prettier than Dante, and I explained there was more than looks. I thought she'd understand and didn't think further on this. Yesterday, an emergency came up. I had to leave my sister alone for an hour. I told her she could take an hour break. Okay. I told her she could take an hour break. When I came back, I found horror. She'd put Willow into the padlock with the new stallion. I asked her what the fuck she was doing, and she told me she just thought they'd work well together, and she was doing me a favor. I got Willow out of there, but not before the new stallion bucked and reared quite a bit from stress. I got Willow out of there, then set about calming him down. I told my sister to go home and not come back, shouting at her quite a bit. I then had a vet come in and check on both to ensure they had not hurt each other. My one relief is Willow isn't estrus yet. In
Can
estrus
get
yet.
pregnant.
Okay, they're not preg or night. I had the bill sent to my sister at my parents' house. They called me today in a panic, asking what the hell this was. When I explained, they told me I was being unfair and she didn't understand, that she couldn't pay and was being cruel, and my sister was crying. I told them she didn't understand, that she did understand, she just didn't care, and she couldn't pay. Shit. God damn, this is so long.
Yep.
We should have pre-read this, but it's all right. I told them she didn't understand, or she did understand, she just didn't care, that she could pay or they could pay, but I wasn't. They were freaking out over how they'll afford this. Am I taking it too far? Question mark.
I'd say your writing skills are taking it too far, bro. Like, this
Yeah.
guy fucking drafted a. First of all, to pull the curtain back, I was supposed to read this one because it is long,
Okay.
and then the 2 and 4 like shorter because I know you don't like the long ones.
Yeah. I just don't. I think it's just they're really lengthy.
Yeah. So, but god damn. So, she basically put 2 horses together and was playing God.
Yeah, I was like, all right, they're gonna fuck. Well, especially it's okay. Here's my thing with it. One, I do think that the poster is a little bit of an asshole.
Yeah.
Just solely on the fact of like mentioning the stuff about like you have a baby sister, you're bringing up that she was a surprise baby. It's
weird context.
completely irrelevant to
Yep.
the story. We don't need to know that.
Mhm.
So you're kind of coming off as like a jerk immediately, just by saying that, because it's like, how is that even relevant?
Yep.
Doesn't even matter. Maybe if you just don't even say like, oh yeah, she's a surprise baby, and then she's like babied now. If you're like, hey, you know what, my parents, baby my sister, I think that maybe is a little bit relevant, but throwing all this other stuff in there just really doesn't make any sense. It's kind of irrelevant to the story. I will say, obviously, the baby sister was stepping it a bit too far, with, breeding these her older sister's horses that she's not fiscally responsible for.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Especially if she owns, like, the older sister owns a horse breeding environment. Yeah, I would be pretty pissed off too, especially because that's not cheap. Like, that's expensive.
Horses?
That's
Fuck no.
That's expensive. Like, that's thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So I think, honestly, weirdly, I'm sure I'm probably going to get ripped on. I actually do kind of think that the 33 female is kind of the jerk for not just standing up to her parents and being like, listen, I know you want me to help her work here or whatever, but like, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
Like, she's not going to be able to work here. That's kind of like one of the things in owning a business.
Yep.
Is you're responsible for all this stuff.
Also,
If you don't want responsibility, don't own a business.
bars.
So, what are your thoughts?
I think getting into business with like a sister or something, you have to have like kind of a. It's an interesting relationship to take on. If you're to work with like somebody that is like family, and then also somebody that basically just tried to fuck you over. Like, if that was an employee that like tried to breed your horses, like quite literally went against your will and tried to breed horses that you didn't want bred, that would be the last straw right there.
They'd literally just get fired.
That's like internship type beat. Do I think that the 33 female, basically the mom in the situation, or older sister type beat, Do I think that she's out of line to send a bill over because of somebody's actions? Not really. Um,
I'm not sure the logistics behind it.
it depends how much it was too.
Yeah, because here's the thing in terms of like owner to employee, like what is it? Like in part of hiring someone as an employee, there's certain contracts that protect the employees.
Yeah.
And then there's certain contracts that protect the business owners from certain mistakes and liability. I'm not sure if they actually signed anything or if it was just handshake.
Yeah.
Or what exactly the deal was, but I mean, I think she could try to take them to court or something like that, but I don't think the 33-year-old female has much legs in this in terms of getting money from them, but I do think like the younger sister is, being an asshole. It's still it's still it's still a job. You should treat it like a job. Just because your sister owns it,
Yep.
doesn't mean you could do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I don't really think that the older sister's even necessarily being like a jerk for wanting to like kick her sister out, because I'd do the same fucking thing. If one of my siblings, I let them into my business and they started like, the only relative I could think is, or not relative, but the only thing I could think of that a sibling would do is they went and spent like $5,000 on camera equipment that I don't need. I'd be like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, they bought you a new camera, like with the business card. And they were like, this one's so much better. And it's like, oh yeah, because you use it all the time.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't need this.
Yeah.
So I didn't want it.
Refund.
So yeah, even one of the comments, horse owner, absolutely not the asshole. What the fuck was she thinking? Could have killed your mare. Bet she wouldn't like that bill or the lost income afterward.
Yeah. There's a lot of context that's kind of missing because unfortunately we aren't horse people.
Yeah.
So like I didn't even think about that. That is apparently what people are freaking out about, is that introducing two horses together clearly is a little like problematic. They could kill each other.
Yeah.
So if that's the context we're missing, then she's 1,000% up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that aspect of it is more like, oh yeah, the younger sister is definitely the fuck.
Yeah. She's kind of being a douchebag.
I think here's on the business side of it. I think the older sister is also, it has to be a business owner and be like, listen, like, you kind of have to vet them a little bit and be like, even if they are your sibling, be like, hey, how much do you actually know about this shit?
Yeah.
Because you put them in scenarios where like and this is what you do before letting them step foot into your place and make decisions. Have like a questionnaire that you have them fill out. What would you do in XYZ scenario? What would you do in this? What would you do in that?
Yeah.
And if they show clear signs of not following these steps, then you have to be like, listen, like I get that you're my sibling, but I'm not going to hire you. You clearly would do these things that I wouldn't agree with, that don't follow my plan as a business owner.
Yeah, trashy from top to bottom. Girl should have done it.
It's, and do I necessarily blame the older sister for that setup? Not necessarily. No. Because I feel like a lot of people would do that. It's unexperienced business owner, which, it happens.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she'll learn from that scenario and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think she's the asshole. I do think she could have set herself up to save her ass a little bit better. But
yeah,
that's just kind of the experience of owning a business.
I agree.
Cool. Let's pop into the next one. You can read this one.
Heck yeah.
Give me a second
here.
Let's
run this bitch. All right. Am I the asshole for refusing to help my best friend with her wedding because she didn't make me a bridesmaid? My best friend, 24, femoid. We'll call her May. And I, 24, female, have been...
Female?
I have been close since middle school. We've talked about being in each other's weddings, so When she got engaged last year, I assumed I'd be a bridesmaid. Damn, that's fucked up if she didn't. She recently asked me to help with the wedding planning, but when she showed me the list for her bridal party, I wasn't on the list. I asked why. She got awkward and said she had to make some choices. The party included her sister, her fiance's sister, and a few newer names she's known for a couple of years. She wanted a small party. Damn, it's fucked up. Okay. I didn't want to make a big deal, though. I congratulated her and figured I'd still be a guest, but then she started asking me for a list or for a lot of help. Things like dress shopping, DIY decorations, venue hunting, making party favors, etc., etc. I finally told her, hey, I love you, but I feel weird doing all this when I'm not even a bridesmaid. She got angry and said she thought I'd still want to be involved because we're best friends. Whack. I told her I'd still be at the wedding, but I wasn't going to do all the extra work when she didn't even consider me close enough to be at her bridal party. Now she and some of our mutual friends are giving me the cold shoulder, saying I'm being petty and making the wedding about me. I'm not going to be doing bridesmaid level work if I am not one. Am I the asshole?
Not even close. I think
Close.
whatever people want to say about a wedding, in reality, it's a commitment of you and the person you're with, and you're inviting all these different people. It sounds like she wants her friend that is like she's known for a long time, like to basically like free labor.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
literally is like, oh, hey, help me out, do all this stuff because I can't do it all on my own. But I don't really want you in the bridal party, so like, and I guess one thing we don't also know context for, it just says that there's like a couple other people.
Yeah.
Is like how many people are at this wedding? How many people are in the bridal party? If there's like 3 people in each side's bridal party, she didn't say
5.
specific.
Yeah, she said a couple of extras.
Yeah, if there's 5, then I think, and one thing that also set it off for me is she was like a couple of friends that were in the bridal party that she met over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And they've been friends since like middle school. We don't know the level as well of how good of friends they were, but either way, I still think the person whose wedding it is going, they're pretty out of pocket for asking like someone who isn't in their bridal party for all this help in setting up a wedding and like basically using them as like a free Pinterest board.
Damn, I like that.
to like be like, hey, well, give me all these ideas of stuff I should do and what I should come up with. And it's just like, bro, like you're going to fucking do that and not even invite me or not even have me in the bridal party? It's kind of like, okay, I'm doing free work here, basically.
Yeah, I definitely think that this would be more of a what's the girl version of the best man?
The bridesmaid?
Is that what it is? It's just bridesmaid.
I think that is.
Okay, so the bridesmaid, that's their job. It's whoever you decided is going to be, whether it's your brother, whether it's your best friend for a lifetime, whether it's somebody you met down the street. It doesn't fucking matter. But whoever you elect to decide that, and they decide that they are the main person, that is now you two get to do all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask somebody who is your best friend, but you don't want them to be in the wedding party, starts it off weird.
Mm-hmm.
It instantly frame 1 weird. And then, I don't know, I would do the same thing. If somebody was like, if you asked me to do a bunch of shit for your wedding and I wasn't even a part of it, I'd be like, all right, cool. Here's my bill.
Yeah. Well, so here's another part of it is she like politely told her too and was like, hey, I love you, but you know, I feel weird doing all this
Bars.
when I'm not even a bridesmaid.
Yep.
And then she got mad. She starts becoming angry. It's very manipulative.
Yep.
To start like even in like they're politely asking like, hey, like listen, I don't mind, you know, it feels weird doing all this even though I'm not a bridesmaid.
Yep.
And then gets angry, storms off, starts involving other people.
Yeah.
Probably
Toxic.
This just tells me she's probably making some bullshit up
Bars.
where she's probably telling all these other friends something that's probably not even true. I mean, if I were this person, I'd probably stay away from them. I would be like, listen, you just showed me enough to not be your friend.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to be like, hey, you know what? I'll maybe show up to your wedding and be like, hey, you know what? It's cool you're getting married. But after that point, I'd be like, eh.
Dude, I swear to God, some of these Am I the Assholes are pretty much like, yeah, I was walking down the street and somebody slapped a sandwich out of my hand. Am I the asshole?
Dude,
Am I
literally.
the asshole for littering?
Well, see,
Everyone wants updates, dude.
This is kind of my a little bit of my issue with some of these am I the assholes is I really doubt if some of these are real.
Oh, yeah.
Because and it also makes me question the writing because okay, like this doesn't sound real. A lot of am I the asshole stories don't sound real.
Yep.
They sound fake. They sound like they're missing. Yeah, I think the horse one is very like I think that one actually is real. But something like this is where it's like you give like this really good response in return, being like, hey, you know, I understand you're getting married. This is a very important event.
Yep.
And I don't really want to I don't want to do all this work if I'm not in your bride's party. And then they like blow up and make it explosive.
Yep.
It seems like there's a little bit missing.
Yep.
And I can't tell where stuff's missing.
Yeah.
So obviously all the comments are like, yeah, not the asshole. She wants free labor from you. She's trying to enlist your help because her bridesmaids probably have already either said no, or because she doesn't want to burden them with menial tasks that she's okay with dumping on original poster. So yeah. And then, you know, when she got angry that you stood up for yourself speaks volumes. Good for you, not letting her use you. You know, pretty
pretend
much
person. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much exactly what we're saying. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. So
yeah, we were feeling a little. That one is a little fake, a little fishy.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds realistic. Sounds kind of whack.
Yeah. Not the asshole verdict.
Not the asshole.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear cut and dry. Anyone who reads that, not the asshole. But here we go. I got another one here. Am I the asshole for asking my friend to leave my birthday party because she brought her crying baby? I, 27 female, recently threw a birthday party at my apartment. It was pretty low-key gathering with about 10 friends, lots of snacks, drinks. I don't know if alcoholic or not, but, you know, whatever. Would make sense if they were, and just a fun night hanging out. Everything was going fine until my friend Sarah, 28, showed up with her 7-month-old baby.
Notorious bitch.
Yep. God damn, bringing a baby here. Now, I love Sarah, and I know she's a mom, but I wasn't expecting her to bring the baby to a party, especially since we had planned to play games, drink, and chat, assuming this drink means alcoholic beverages.
Yep.
The baby started crying almost immediately when they walked in, and Sarah tried to calm her down, but she was clearly struggling. At first, I thought it was just a momentary thing, but the crying continued for almost an hour, super loud and nonstop. It was hard to hear anything over the noise of crying, and some of the other party guests were getting visibly uncomfortable. I eventually pulled Sarah aside and asked her if she could maybe step outside with the baby or take a break in the other room until the baby calmed down.
Yep.
I explained that it was just hard to enjoy the party with the baby crying. She was clearly upset and told me that I should be more understanding since she clearly can't leave the baby at home. Sorry, I am just okay. I need to make sure I'm continuing in the right spot.
Sure.
And she was doing the best to keep her calm. She ended up leaving shortly after, and now she's not speaking to me. I feel bad because I know being a mom is hard, but I also feel like it was my birthday and I wanted to have a good time without the baby crying. Some people think I was rude for asking her to leave, while others think I was just trying to protect the vibe of the party. Am I the asshole? I'll let you give your thoughts first.
Yeah, let me hop in this bitch. Let me open up the door. Let me get in. All right, let's drive. So pretty much, What I'm thinking is it's kind of rude to bring a baby anywhere unannounced, without asking. I don't think it's, especially if it's a friendship. So say it was a group of women, 5 women, 5 of them had babies. If people start bringing babies to that function, absolutely, because other
Makes
babies
sense.
will be there.
Yep.
You know, babies will be babies, and you know, I think there's 2 parts where I think friend was kind of being a douchebag. One, asking if they could bring the baby. So number 1, if you have decided to be a mother, or you know, a parent, there are certain sacrifices that come with it, and I think one of them is social events like movies or like, you know, parties or stuff that sometimes you're just not going to be able to go because your baby is being fussy or, you know, XYZ. There's a lot of reasons a baby shouldn't go to a thing. Especially if like there's going to be like alcohol and kind of, you know, I don't personally, if I'm the parent, I don't even really want my baby around that stuff because it's a fucking baby. And
Right.
if some drunk person, I don't know, is being a drunk person and hurts your baby, it is now your fault because you brought them to a place where people were getting drunk.
Right.
So I think number 1 is not asking if you can bring a baby because it's kind of a big deal. It's not like you brought your friend who nobody knows and it's like, I don't know, it's like another person. It's a fucking baby. And number 2 is whilst the baby is crying, and I don't know the situation, but like at one point, I've seen so many good parents, if a baby starts crying, take the fucking baby and bring it to a separate room where there's no...
I think that's what she did.
Okay, well, it sounded like she just like let the baby cry for an hour.
No, I think there was something. At first, I thought, let's see. Drink. You, if you have more thought, you can keep going. I'll just kind of read over this in my head.
So if depending on what he finds, but I kind of read it as or heard it as that she just let that happen and just kind of tried to calm him down or them down whilst the party was still going on. So not bringing the baby to a separate room and or just not like, I don't know, kind of getting out of the thing that is clearly disturbing your baby, like kind of a mean thing. But those are kind of my thoughts on it. I don't think the person is out of pocket to be after an hour to be like, hey, your baby's kind of fucking with my vibe. It's my party. I invited you. I didn't invite your baby. You know, sorry, but
Yeah.
you gotta bounce.
So there's a couple thoughts I have on this,
Sure.
and for me, I don't get a full context of the situation
Okay.
as most of these.
Classic banger.
So yeah, I read through it. It doesn't seem like there's anything where not stepping aside. So yeah, if you're just sitting in a room for an hour and like your baby is crying, then like, yo, what the fuck?
Right? Yo.
Because babies are very sensitive to like, because they can't talk.
Everything. Yeah.
They can't talk. They can even be like sensitive to like colors that they're seeing in a room. They can be sensitive to certain smells
Yeah.
that they're smelling in a room. So the parent has to be very cognizant of some of those things.
Yeah.
Volume levels, all that fun stuff. I will say that I don't know what context was given to the parent
Sure.
in this scenario of what the party was going to be like.
Sure.
Whether or not they were, because if they were like, you know, oh yeah, come over, you know, it's going to be low key. We're not going to be doing a whole lot. If you're inviting someone who you know is a parent, I mean, they're probably going to bring their kid. Like,
Sure.
that's just kind of like, I don't know how many parents that you hang out with or like people that are in our age group who are parents, because this is directly in our age group.
Other than all the MILFs that
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
You
but
beg them and tag them and leave.
yeah, I mean, that's the usual. But, I mean, there's a good group of friends that I hang out with where I'm like one of the only single people there.
Oh, true.
And then I also have a group of friends where, you know, like everyone is single.
Yeah.
So it kind of, there's that aspect to it. I don't know the full group because it could be a scenario where the person who's throwing the party invited multiple parents.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there is a little bit, at least in my opinion, where if this person who's 27, let's say, I don't know, maybe let's say they're having a party at 8 p.m. or something like that. I could be like, well, I could see where you'd bring a kid to something like that.
Yeah.
Don't want to pay a babysitter or something.
Sure.
I could see that aspect of it. But I could also see the parents aspect of it. I think it's kind of like, listen, like if you're going to hang out with your 27-year-old friend who doesn't have kids, guess what? They're probably going to be raging.
Right.
Like that's just kind of like the norm for a lot of 27-year-olds is they're like, yeah, I'm going to go get drunk with all my friends. And, I think there's that aspect as a parent where you have to be like, oh, you know what? I guess I'm going to miss out on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a baby that I have to take care of. So admittedly, I do think the parent is probably a little bit more of like the not being an adult and not being a good parent in that scenario.
That's what I was saying.
I don't think the original poster is the asshole because like it was very kind, very cordial. So I don't think she's being an asshole. And weirdly, like it's tough to be friends with people who are parents if you're not willing to meet them there. Because she says that like she's not speaking to her anymore or speaking to her. Like the original poster, the baby mama isn't speaking to the original poster. And it's tough for people who are parents to be friends with single people as well, vice versa, because they're just at different stages in their lives. So I actually don't think anyone is the asshole here. I think it's just they're kind of in different stages of life where one person is like an adult. They're still trying to go hang out and stuff like that. And then the 27-year-old clearly isn't at that stage. They're still having fun. They're still throwing parties and stuff like that. And, I'm not saying that the 28-year-old isn't doing that, but they're just kind of at different stages. So.
Yeah, you like to be in the middle of the aisle. Fuck that bitch. Get her out of here.
Yeah, I'm very middle of the aisle. Let's see here. Top comment, not the asshole. Her child is not your responsibility, and her inability to find childcare so she can attend an adult function is not your problem to solve.
Same.
Her giving you the silent treatment is called emotional blackmail.
Bars.
When it never ends. Hold firm, don't give in. She's the one who decided to bring the baby.
Bars.
She's the one who decided to leave. She's the one who is trying to punish you by using silent treatment. She can be the one to reconnect and apologize. Anything short of that is unacceptable. She's beyond rude. Let me see here. So the original poster did reply to this one. Thanks for the reply. You make a lot of good points. I agree that is not my responsibility to solve her childcare issues, and I shouldn't feel guilty for wanting to enjoy my birthday without dealing with the disruption. It definitely feels like emotional blackmail with the silent treatment, and I'm not about to let that continue. I'll hold firm, wait for her to come around and apologize if she feels the need to. I appreciate you helping me feel more confident in my decision.
Yeah, this is clearly a fringe friend if you're pretty much willing to just throw away the whole friendship for one interaction like this. This is pretty... Clearly you're like semi-friends with this person. It's not a best friend.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
And I think it's one thing in this scenario where like the baby mama, if she like still connects with her and is just like, hey, you know what, like, sorry, I misread the situation, but it doesn't sound like that's the situation based off even these replies, is where it's like this girl probably reached back out to the mom and was like, hey, I hope we don't have any hard feelings, something like that. Wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
Sure. And
then the baby mama's just not replying, which is I think that's kind of messed up. That's where she's starting to turn into the asshole. Because it could have been a situation where it was just misread, where she didn't understand the circumstances. But now it's kind of leaning towards the parent is kind of being more neglectful as a parent. Even this one, not the asshole. I'm a parent. I wouldn't bring my baby to a party. Sometimes being a parent fucking sucks. You have to miss out on things, but that's what you signed up for in being a parent.
Saying.
Which, 100% is the case. And it sounds like especially with some of the wording on the original posting, is like the 27 female made it well known that it wasn't like a child suitable party.
Yeah.
So that just makes me even more think that she isn't the asshole and
Sure.
that the parent is kind of being a little neglectful.
Yeah.
As I read into it more. So, yeah, that's kind of my thought there. Cool. We have, so on the docket here, we have one more Am I the Asshole? We're sitting around like 40 some odd minutes, and then we
Yeah.
have another segment. Do we want to
I think
just
we
finish
speed
it?
round the Am I the Asshole, and then we're GG's.
Yeah, we
so
can just call it.
real quick, I'm going to read this. I'm going to read it fast, and then we're going to flash say, is he the asshole or is he not? And
Well,
then
we
it's
can
done.
we can even, you can read it, and then we can say our thoughts on it.
All
So,
So, am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend's kids to eat what's for dinner or don't eat at all? I heard my mom say that one.
yeah.
I, 27, femoid, have been with my boyfriend 30. Okay, his name's 30. For a little over a year now. We've recently moved in together. I have an 8-year-old from an ex, and wow. And my boyfriend has 2 kids and ages 6 and 9. Since we moved in together, I now have his children every weekend, and he works Fridays, so I'm alone with them till he is off of work. Friday night, I made meatloaf. Shitty. I don't like meatloaf.
I love
And
meatloaf.
with roast broccoli and mashed potatoes. She's fucking stupid. She spelled mashed potatoes, not mashed. My son, my my son eats well, and he knows to eat the best he can. And if he doesn't finish the food, that's okay. But at least he basically tries. He can, unless he don't want before bedtime snack. I hold my boyfriend children to these same rules, which we haven't had any issues with till Friday night. Neither of the kids liked the food. The 9-year-old ate it. The 6-year-old refused, in which I said, I'm not making you another meal. So he went to bed without dinner. When my boyfriend got home, his 6-year-old was complaining. He was hungry, and my boyfriend got upset with me that I refused to make him something else. I told him I wouldn't hold his children to different rules than my kid. He got upset and ended up making him something else to eat. Crazy, wow. And then he told me that was horrible for me to deny a child dinner, and blamed it on his young age. True. Explaining I had to be more lenient. I explained that I had raised a young child before. Wow. And I was once a young child, sick, and followed the same rules, which just resulted in a huge argument and him calling me ignorant. Today, we got a call from my boyfriend's ex, and now the children don't want to come till Saturday or Friday night late when my boyfriend is off of work. This caused another big argument between me and my boyfriend. He once again called me an ignorant asshole and said, geez, this is a super healthy relationship.
Yeah.
And said I need to change my way of thinking. Am I the asshole? So I did not force this kid to go to bed hungry. I suggested him to eat a larger portion of his mashed potatoes and smaller portion of the other things, which he refused, and didn't want to make him anything else.
I think there's dual parts to this. I do kind of think she is a little bit of an asshole.
Yeah.
For a 6-year-old, like,
Yep.
come on, have you ever met a fucking 6-year-old?
Yeah.
It's like you can't make them another meal, make them something else, like
PB&J.
yeah, something that they'll actually eat. Because like, okay, I like meatloaf. I probably didn't like meatloaf until I was like 19, 20 something. I just thought it was.
Now.
I just don't think it was like, okay, yeah, you made a kid, like she is the fucking adult here.
Yep.
She has the cognizant adult brain here.
Yep.
And to be like, well, I was a child and this is how I was taught is very like boomer type thinking,
It's annoying.
where it's very like, oh yeah, well, I followed these rules. My child follows these rules. So your children, and technically it's not even her children.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I can't say I watch a ton of children.
No.
But I do have like nieces and a nephew. And whenever I watch them, like I try to default as much to like their parents' style of parenting as possible.
Yep.
And that's kind of how you need to raise children, especially in my opinion. I mean, that's kind of just what I think. Eventually I'll have kids someday and it'll be a bit more lenient because they're a child. They don't have cognizant like full brain function.
Yep.
So like they just kind of like react impulsively. Like that's just how children are. And
Yep.
I completely agree with the boyfriend where she is kind of being ignorant.
Yeah.
Like I think calling her an asshole is just a little bit ridiculous, but there's context that's missed there. You know, she could have just kept barging into it. And I don't know. I think she had a perfect opportunity to go apologize and be like, hey, you know what? I shouldn't be treating a 6-year-old this way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're 6. They can't cook for themselves. Like,
Yep.
come on. Like, it's not like they can go cook for themselves just because they don't like the meal you made when they don't even really see you that often.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, okay, like, you're kind of being a dick. And it's like this ad saying, like, I did not force the kid to go to bed hungry just tells me most of the people agree with that, too.
Mm-hmm.
So...
the only thing that I'm going to add is that I think there's a lot of different parenting styles. I think that this is kind of a toxic relationship from the jump. The kid's not wanting to be there, not super surprising. I think there's multiple ways to handle the situation, and I don't think she did very well. So, yeah, you're the asshole.
We're
I
going to
agree.
quickly read the top 2 comments.
Go crazy.
You're the asshole. I'm assuming that you're well-intentioned and feel that this is the most helpful approach for kids' development, so you're not the asshole for that. But this approach is outdated and not helpful for development. It teaches kids to ignore their own bodily sensations, hunger cues, etc., which makes it harder for them to self-regulate their own eating and food choices in the future.
Mm-hmm.
It can also create a negative / punitive relationship with food, even if it is working for your child. Not every kid is the same and may not work for your boyfriend's kids. It's not okay to have a child go without dinner or without food for any extended period when they're hungry. The main part you're the asshole for, though, is that this isn't your child. You don't get to decide how to parent the child, especially if the child's parents both agree on how the child should be parented and treated, and you're going against that. If you're unwilling to care for the kids in any other way, then you need to tell your boyfriend that you can't look after them for their meal times and accept however he decides to proceed with that. You definitely don't get to be annoyed that his kids don't want to come over for those meal times. I would also refuse to spend time around someone who has made me experience significant physical discomfort and denied me the access to food.
Bars.
I agree. And then the second other comment, this was one of the other top liked, is not the asshole. You should think about moving out and breaking up after being called ignorant. You were raised in a different way. That doesn't make you ignorant. I was raised the same way. Eat's what's served, or you don't get to eat. But you don't. But you do say that there were no issues until this one dinner. Why do you think that is? Was there anything especially different about the food? Meatloaf, potatoes sound pretty standard. There are jokes about people not liking broccoli, which I never understood, as I always liked it. But kids generally gravitate to meat and potatoes, so it sounds like there were other things that could have been eaten. What was made differently? It sounds like it's a little bit all over the place, because I think a lot of people were raised with that. I was even raised with that of like, well, if you're not, if you don't like this, you're not having anything to eat mentality, which personally, as someone like as an adult now, I think this is in my opinion, I think it's a ridiculous way to think that way.
Yeah.
Because you act like you don't have, like, you can't cook them. Hell, kids love corn dogs. Make them a fucking corn dog. It takes 2 minutes. Throw it in the microwave.
Yep.
Put some ketchup on the plate. Give them a corn dog.
Yeah,
9 times out of 10, they'll eat that.
Here's an Uncrustable.
Yeah, give them an Uncrustable. Give them something like that.
But yeah.
Like, it just says to me that the adult in the situation they were probably already fed up with it. They don't want to spend time doing that. They probably want to get on and do something different. So,
yeah. And
but yeah, that's that.
I think that's the perfect segue. It's time for us to get on and go do something different.
Yep.
Transporting you into the end screen.
Yep. Into the end peen.
Follow us on all of the social medias. We're on the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the TikToks, the Spotifys, the Apple Podcasts, the YouTubes, the YouTube Premiums, the P-Hubs, the XYZ Jerkmate ranked. You're platinum. I'm gold.
Yep.
I'm trying to get there.
Yeah.
There's just not enough time in the day.
Maybe someday you'll get there.
One day, a platinum patter. But I am a gold gooner, so
Yep.
that will be all for the well.
Peace.
Peace.